Persona 5 is a 2016 role-playing video game developed by Atlus. There is no question that Persona 5 is an outstanding RPG game. Until 2022, Persona 5 and its spin-offs account for 7.22 million units. This is an amazing amount of sales, accounting for almost 47% of all sales of the Persona series. Persona 5 also won a number of awards. At the Game Awards 2017, it won the Best Role-Playing Game. In IGN's 2017 End of Year Awards, it won Best RPG. According to its incredible sales and award it has received, there is no question that Persona 5 is the first unambiguously anime-style JRPG that broke into widespread critical acceptance in the English-language gaming world. Moreover, it has become the standard against which all other anime JRPGs are judged. The huge success of Persona 5 can be attributed to its eye-catching art style, addictive gameplay design, and a narrative that is rich with meaning, all of which seamlessly work together to create an unforgettable experience. The selling of its narrative lies in the fact that after experiencing the exhilarating sensation of fighting and defeating the villains and saving the world, we can also think deeply about the current state of society, revealed from his narrative. After all, behind the virtual, almost fairy tale-like game story of a hero saving fallen mankind, it reflects the real society and the real twisted desires that people have in this muddy society. If you are hearing about this game for the first time, you might be wondering, what is it about Persona 5 that can attract players of all skill levels, whether they are experienced with JRPG or completely new to the genre? Personally, I believe it has a lot to do with its unapologetically bold anime aesthetic. So, let's start by discussing the stunning art style of Persona 5. The art design in Persona 5 often employs 2 or 3 solid and highly saturated colors to create a strong visual impact, such as the classic black or red or black and white color schemes. In the game title screen of Persona 5 Royal, the characters are presented in red silhouette, with a special low-angle shot used to capture the protagonist. These striking features are highly reminiscent of the visual style of film noir. If you keep playing this game, you will discover that not only the art style but Persona 5's character designs and the narrative structure share similarities with classic film noir. Film noir is a type of film originating from German Expressionism, characterized by black and white visual style. It excels in using high contrast and strong light and dark contrasts, unusual camera angles, side lighting, and silhouettes. These subtle lighting and deep shadows are designed to emphasize people who feel trapped in life. Similar to the protagonist team in this game, although they are all minors, they are actually burdened with various pressures and pains that cannot be spoken to outsiders. These pains are like chains tightly bound to them, keeping them trapped. In the game, the most vivid representation of the protagonist's inner repression is depicted through the transition, when Joker enters the Velvet Room, which is an animation that passes through the chains, as well as the inner appearance of Joker shown in the Velvet Room is like a prisoner locked in a cell. Returning to the art style of Persona 5, we can see that all black shadows and hard rim lighting on the side of the characters, frequently used in the images of concept art, the promotional artwork, are very similar to the way in noir comics. Looking at this noir illustration, doesn't the use of solid black and red colors and the hard edge between these colors give you a strong sense of Persona 5? In terms of cinematography, film noir often uses reflections from distorted objects to convey a sense of confusion and distortion within the characters, reflecting their inner turmoil. Similarly, in the game, when the protagonist enters the metaverse from the real world, the game implies a transition that seems like the screen is twisting and distorting, as if being sucked into a vortex. This serves as a metaphor for how the palace symbolizes people's twisted desires. The exaggerated and dramatic visual style creates a strong visual impact that maximizes the emotional response of the player. Moreover, the large amount of solid black shadows create a blind spot and contributes to a tense and mysterious atmosphere, which is exactly what the narrative of Persona 5 requires. In the game's narrative, the protagonist and their team need to complete a redemption of target soul within a certain time limit, otherwise irreversible consequences may occur. The targets range from a sports teacher who influences the volleyball team at the beginning to the president who influences the entire nation later on. The higher the target's social status, the more they are susceptible to corruption from society. Conversely, they also have greater power to corrupt and oppress others through society. As a crucial component of society, power is also a major cause of people's spiritual corruption. In other words, power is a corrupting force. Because power not only changes a person's perceptions and emotions towards others, but also alters the way they treat others, leading them to be more likely to engage in negative behaviors toward others, such as abuse and aggression. With the game progresses, the cost of failure for the protagonist team becomes greater, and the tense atmosphere helps maintain players' high level of enthusiasm. Not only in visual style, but also in narrative, film noir have its own unique style and structure. In film noir, the protagonist is usually an anti-hero with noticeable flaws or stings, such as the protagonist being pursued by a private detective due to their corrupt or criminal past. However, false accusations, betrayal, and treachery are also common elements. In Persona 5, the protagonist Joker was falsely accused and given a criminal record after stopping a drunken executive from sexually assaulting a woman in his hometown. As a result, he was expelled from his previous school and sent to Shunjin Academy for a 1-year probation period. However, Joker is actually a morally upright character who has always upheld justice in his heart. Whether it was his courageous actions in his hometown, his work as a phantom thief in the metaverse to help villains turn over a new leaf, or his efforts to redeem people's souls in mentals, he always endeavors to make this corrupt society a better place with a kind and a righteous heart. At the same time, film noir aims to show the dirty and criminal stories behind the prosperous city, but Persona 5 takes a more gentle and fictional approach. People with strong, twisted desires will transform real locations into palaces in the metaverse to satisfy their twisted desires. The game did not choose to show these dirty and dark desires to players in reality, but abstracted them into a form of twisted and terrifying monsters in those palaces. The ending of a film noir is often consistent with its dark tone. Rather than presenting a happy ending, it tends to depict a society that is chaotic and full of evil and crime, where justice often does not prevail and suffering persists. In contrast, in the world of Persona 5, the protagonist can defeat the enemy's inner selves and take away their oppositions, leading them to repent in the real world. In contrast to film noir that shows the pure evil in human nature, Persona 5 is more inclined to believe that humanity is inherently kind and pure, and that people only lose themselves because of the temptations of materialism or power in society. If the opposition in one's heart, brought about by society as a mask from social, is taken off, people can regain their original kindness and honesty and confess their crimes to the public, even seeking remediation. For example, the first enemy with the palace main characters encounters Kamoshida, the volleyball coach at their school who was once an Olympic volleyball champion. The high honor he achieved and the praise and admiration from public he received, as well as his contribution to the school's college admission rate, led him to lose himself. His gold medal became a source of his arrogance and desire to oppress his students, and it became a mask that society placed on him, causing him to be blinded by glory and self-satisfaction. This feeling of self-satisfaction gave him a sense of superiority over his students and made him believe that he was always right and above everyone else. At the same time, his self-satisfaction also caused him to lose his sympathy and empathy for his students, causing him to treat the volleyball team members as his slaves in his own castle. However, after the protagonist's team defeated Kamoshida's inner self in the metaverse and stole his gold medal, Kamoshida repented in the real world. He took off the mask imposed by society, confessed his crimes of abusing and sexually harassing his students at a school assembly, and then voluntarily turned himself in to pay for his sins.
Shiho's still alive, even after all the things that made her want to die! You have no right to run from this!
You're right. You're absolutely right. I should be punished under the law and atone for my crimes. I did horrible things to Takamaki-san as well. In return for giving Suzui-san a position on the team, I tried to force her into having relations.
Disgusting.
For a position on the team?
I feel so
That's
bad
horrible.
for
So the rumors
Takamaki-san.
weren't true.
As of today, I will resign from my position as an instructor and turn myself in. Someone please call the police!
The police?
Furthermore, Persona 5 not only focuses on portraying the twisted inner world of individuals who have been corrupted by society and power, but also depicts the varying degrees of corruption and oppression experienced by general public through metals. These individuals are oppressed and bullied by various aspects of society, yet they lack the courage and ability to change the status quo or rebel against it. For example, the numerous requests posted on the fandom aficionado website are a result of their inability and unwillingness to resist, to remove the masks placed on them by society, and to hope for the help of the fandom thieves. The long-term suppression of pain and desire in their hearts has made them numb, abandoned critical thinking, forgotten their true selves, and willingly imprisoned themselves in the cage of society. What is terrifying is that when their souls are forever imprisoned in the cage of mentals, their physical bodies disappear from the real world. Through these spine-chilling fictional scenes, the game attempts to warn players that if they are willing to corrupted by society, the only thing waiting for them is the eternal oppression and an increasingly degenerate society.
牢の外にいるからそんな悩んだり探したりする羽目になんだよ。生きるには知らなくていいことだってあるんだ。
その通りじゃな。システムの話、それに開かずの独房の話。
開かずの独房？誰が捕らえられているの？
噂じゃ真に危険な滞在人が入っとるらしいが、誰がそんなもんに自分から触れるものか。さあ、そんなところで立ち話もなんじゃ。中に入ってきたらどうじゃ。
モナ。
It can be said that Persona 5 portrays a dirty society full of misfortune, corruption caused by power, and betrayal through the use of no aesthetics. It depicts how such a society gradually corrupts people's hearts, erodes their will, and intensifies their desires. However, at the same time, Persona 5 chooses a group of vibrant, pure-hearted, just and courageous high school students as its protagonists. Through their strong resistance against the violence in the society, the game adds elements of innocence and optimism to the story. Even through the player's efforts and perseverance, the game can achieve a satisfying ending that a typical film noir would not have. The salvation of the public souls, giving them the courage to resist the oppression and imprisonment brought by society. It can be said that although the game uses the expression style of film noir to depict pain and suffering on the surface, its essence is still optimistic and full of hope. As Roman Roland said, there's only one heroism in the world, to see the world as it is and to love it.